you can make a doctor's income realistically.
Yeah.
And you've had people build this in. How you can make a doctor's income realistically.
Weird.
Yeah. And you've had people build this in.
Oh, that's not what I want. Oh, I've got to remember how to do this live stuff. I really have. Okay. Hold on. Hold on.
So the majority of the people.
That's not what I want. Okay. I've got to remember how to do this live stuff. I really have. And that's too loud. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Sorry guys, the beginnings of these videos are not going so well, are they? Right, what is that feedback? Hold on. All right, is that better? Can you hear me? Hi guys. Hello, we're not going to start for another minute because I said 8 o'clock. I'm going to wait for other people to join me. Let me just check. I've muted it. I think I've done it right. I'm not too good with this. Can you hear me okay? Thank you. Hi, Sheila in Calgary. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Emily. Yes, you can hear me. Great. Okay, thank you. Hi, JC. Hi, Sol, Violetta, Monica, Margot, Emily, Poopak, Harry. Hi, Monica. Good, you can hear me. All righty. When I used to live stream, when I'm going to start for a minute or so, just wait for people to come on. When I used to live stream, I used to use a live stream system called OBS. And I understood that and I knew how to work it. But sadly, OBS is no longer compatible with iMac since their upgrade, and I've had to learn to use Zoom. So yesterday and today is my first live with Zoom, and it's not as easy, but I'm getting the hang of it. All right. Hi, everyone. Lovely. All right. So we're just coming 8 o'clock. Hi from chaotic Germany. Yeah, we are all very much in that chaotic, changing energy, and it all feels very weird. Hi, Monica. Lovely to see you, darling. I'm going to be looking down here because that's where the chat is. All right. So I've got some questions that you've asked me to look at, and I'm going to do my best to be able to answer some of your questions. This isn't live readings as such, okay? I might pull some cards. I might get some guidance from the angels. This is more of a live chat, excuse me. Hi, Teresa, to be able to help and support you through the beginnings of this change, okay? It's the beginnings of quite a significant change, and it takes time for us to adapt to change. And so anything I can do and my angels can do to help you with the beginnings of coping with that, adapting, that's what I'm here for. All right. I'm just looking. Oh, hi, Matthew in Wales. My home country. I'm from Wales. Lovely, saying hi to everybody. Switzerland. Oh, Mickey, hi, sweetie. Some of you I know, some of I've worked with. Hi, Maria. Hi, Ray. So some of you have been asking me questions in the comments, and I thought, okay, I'll do a live and I'll answer these to the best of my understanding and knowledge. The intention of this live chat is to help and support and calm. And I think already what we're seeing just in the last few days is more of a calm starting to come through. The fear is beginning to dissipate, which is what we need to happen, okay? Because putting fear, if any of you've seen the live I did last night, it is on the replay if you want to watch it. It was about an hour and 10 minutes. But putting fear, you know, the fear was rising across the globe. So whatever we can do to lower the fear will help to raise the vibration and calm everything down. And what we do know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but what we do know absolutely is that the one thing that puts the body out of balance is stress. And fear and stress will raise your amygdala, your all of your adrenaline, all of your cortisol. And what it does is it puts your body out of balance, it lowers your tolerance, and then your health goes off. So what we want to do is lower the fear. Okay. Hi, Teresa. I am a bit croaky. I've been doing a lot of talking this week. There's been a lot of people needing support. And today I've done some more of April's readings. They're up there live with an extended as well, which is done, but it's not on my website yet in the next few days. So I've done a lot of talking. That's why I'm a bit croaky. So, oh, hi in India. Hi. All right. Hi in Finland. Lovely. So one of the first questions that came through very strongly is those of you, us, that live alone and are going into isolation, how do you deal with isolation when you live alone? Now, for many of you, the only real contact that you get when you are single and no family living with you is at work. Is going to work, going on public transport, being around the office, your job, your customers, your clients. That's the only, oh, bless you. Thank you so much, Teresa. That's very generous. Thank you very much for your donation. And so to take away the only contact that a single person has with interaction with people can be quite a big, sharp shock. Okay. So what I want those of you who are single, living alone and are, you know, you have your routines. It may not be work that you get your social interaction from. It may be that you go to a class, you know, yoga, Pilates, the gym, that you go to, you know, a pub, a club, and that's where you interact with people. Yeah, I know you are, Ray. You're going into it shortly as well. So wherever you get your social interaction, those of us that are going into lockdown, some of you are in everything's lockdown. In the UK here, some of the shops are open, but all the pubs, restaurants, clubs and large sort of events like theatres and cinemas are closed. Some of the shops are now beginning to close here too. And so we're in what I would call partial lockdown, where it's not every business is shutting, but a lot of them are. So more and more of us over the last week are in isolation, not going out and not seeing a soul. So if you're single, how do you cope with that? All right. So we don't know how long this is going to last. It's going to be different lengths of periods in different countries, okay? In the UK, they're talking about 12 weeks, but potentially on and off for a year, which seems like, oh, and that doesn't feel necessary for me. It doesn't feel it will go on that long. But let's agree 3 or 4 months for most countries. Let's agree this is going to go on for probably until June into July. And so how do you deal with not having interactions with people when you're single? So it's to get that interaction where you can. Like right now, I live alone, I'm single, I haven't been out of the house for a week. And I'm talking to you guys, and I talk to my clients online because I'm blessed enough to work online. But I've also spent a lot of time today on the telephone, more so than I normally would, ringing my family for long chats because they're all at home as well instead of at work. So it's taking practical steps, looking at your life and saying, how and where can I get any kind of social interaction fix? Okay, so perhaps you take part in live chats. You're chatting with each other on here now on the chat. Perhaps you are talking to your neighbours over your garden fences, your balconies, your windows. Perhaps you are talking to people. If you are allowed to go for a walk, we're not allowed to congregate and we've got to stay 2 meters apart. That's 6 feet for you guys in the UK, in the USA. Then basically you could still talk to somebody as long as they're 6 feet away. So it's saying, look at any part of your life where you can have some interaction, all right? The second part that you can do is to really look at what you can gain from this. Many people are highly dependent upon others. We are social animals, we're social creatures, and we need a certain amount of interaction. but we can absolutely do 6 weeks without speaking to a soul. Now, most people have never done that, apart from Jesus going up to the mountain and the odd monk that goes into a retreat where they don't speak to a soul for 6 weeks. But on the whole, most of us have some kind of interaction at least every few days. So it's saying to yourself, okay, how can I grow from this? Because one of the things that can grow is my sense of independence, my sense of supporting myself, all right? And how do we do that? I'm just going to look at some of your comments. Hi, Paula in Maine. You're in Chile, Marcella. Hi, sweetie. How lovely to see you. Okay. Had to line up outside to get into the grocery store, Barbie. Okay, talk to people in the queue. Okay. Yeah, everything's closing down in the US. Good. It's the safest way. Okay. And Teresa's saying she sets a task, often puts off for too long, and then when you do it, the accomplishment feels amazing. There's all sorts of things we can do to support ourselves. So in terms of for the single people, what are we gaining? I'm aware that the quality is going down, and that there is something going on with that as well. Let's just explain. When I uploaded my videos today, the first one went up HD as it normally would. The second went up in standard definition. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? Because it was recorded in 4K. But basically what and responsibly too, I believe YouTube and Netflix, they're all lowering the standard down to standard definition to allow more people to be able to use the internet, because obviously with more people at home, more people are using the internet than normal. So they are sharing the bandwidth that's available, as is right. But you will see the quality deteriorate on these videos because of it, but it's better than nothing, okay? So for you single people, use this as an opportunity to really strengthen your independence, your sense of being able to support yourself, and then look at ways that you can support yourself, all right? You can get out in nature, in gardens, books, online courses, any online interaction, which will give you a bit of a social fix, will help. All right. Now, the other question that came through very strongly was, what about the opposite? What about those of you with families all on top of each other, children home from school, mums and dads, teenagers, all on top of each other, bored, nothing to do, getting on each other's nerves? How can you cope with that? What is going to be your coping mechanisms? So the first thing is, and this is with my therapist hat on, by the way, not my psychic, well, it's my psychic hat is always on, but this is just general kind of coping mechanisms, all right? So the first thing is treat this kind of group isolation you've got at home in your families as a family bonding exercise. Sit down together, have a family meeting and say, right, let's make a plan. How are we going to deal with this? What are going to be the risk factors when we're arguing? Where can we, let's agree to go to our rooms and get away from each other. Let's agree to support each other, being allowed to be in a bad mood. Sit down and come up with a strategy. And every family will be different because every individual has different needs. And within the family, how can you support each other? Because both sides of the coins, those of you very on your own and those of you in families that you're thinking, oh my God, 3 months at home with the kids, the husband, we're going to be at each other's throats, right? You've both got challenges, but you've both got great opportunities to strengthen your family, strengthen yourself, and strengthen that love. But it's being realistic and planning. So sit down and let everybody talk, let everybody share their concerns, let everybody talk about what's worrying them, and to perhaps have a family meeting every day or certainly once a week. How's your week been? How are you feeling? Where are you at? Checking in on each other, using this as an opportunity to support each other. But pretending you're not going to get on each other's nerves and hoping for the best and doing nothing is probably not going to be a really good strategy. So it's allowing truth, honesty, but in a respectful way. Another question that came through, and then I'll have a look again at some of your comments. Another question that came through is, how do we support our children and teenagers through this who are extraordinarily confused, don't have the resilience or the awareness in terms of the cognitive wisdom that we have as adults. How do we support our children? The most important, I really feel my voice going, sorry, let me take some water. Okay, the most important thing for your children is to let them share their truth, let them share their emotions, let them share their fears, their confusions, their wibbles and wobbles, let them talk. Don't tell your children to put a brave face on it. It doesn't work. All that happens is everything they're feeling gets suppressed. You too, you grown-ups too. Don't suppress what you feel. You'll have good days and bad days. You'll have days where you'll be like, you know, this is great. And other days you want to just not get out of bed. You'll have days when you're upset and angry. Cry, punch the pillow. Don't punch each other. But feel the emotions and allow them. And then talk about them and then support. So being real, that's how you support each other. All right. Just looking at some of your questions here on comments. I'm stuck in with my ex-husband. Oh, that's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? When you're having to hole up with an ex. Sometimes, you know, we get on better with our exes when we're no longer together than we did when we were together. Again, give yourself space. Coming back to the single people, if it's not too late, and it may already be for some of you, in the UK here, there's been on the news where 3 elderly best friends, they've been best friends for like 50, 60 years. They're all single now, widowed or divorced, and they all live alone, and they always meet up for coffee and do things together. They're best friends. They've all decided to move into one of their houses together and isolate together so that they can support each other. Doesn't matter what age you are, but that's not a bad idea if you've got good friends who are also on their own, if you're allowed to travel and get to them, and if you're obviously healthy, because you don't want to be poorly taking it to them, but that's also a good idea. All right. Okay. Let's see some of your questions. Hi, Anne in Ohio. You used to live in Kent. Okay. Right. Okay. Let's see. All right. Okay. So now the questions coming up there. Does this make sense for you? And is it helpful what I'm saying? Or is this stuff you already knew, most of you? So is anybody helpful? Hi. Okay. Let me know if this is helpful, what I'm saying. I'm just scrolling up so I can see some of your previous comments. Lisa, I love your comment, Lisa A. We've been terrible humans and spirit has sent us to our room in a timeout. It's kind of like that. Yeah, we're on press pause so that we can review and have a look at where we're going and what we're doing. Paula, I'm a teacher with at-risk teenagers. Schools are closed. Zoom is being used with our kids as well. Yeah, this is a really good way to be able to still teach and not just teach, but interact with the kids. And they need their friends. Children, especially children and teenagers, desperately need social interaction. So, you know, encourage them to use Skype and Zoom with their friends. And especially with both Skype and Zoom, you can have multiple people on the same call at the same time. All right. So, you know, with Zoom, you can bring in up to, I think, 25 people. With Skype, you can bring up to 14, but only 3, sorry, only 3 will come onto the screen at the same time. Okay, but it's a way that they can interact with their friends. They can get their friends all on Skype together and say, right, let's meet up at 3 o'clock on Skype and let's have a chat like we would if it was, you know, playtime in the playground break, you know. All right, let's see what else is coming up. Teresa saying it's teaching us the earth will win in order to repair itself. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Anne works at a grocery. Thank you for your work with keeping the food going, Anne. All right. And you are finding this helpful. Okay. And Paul is saying she's appreciating the side chat as a sensitive in the community. I'm finding myself exhausted from holding space for folks that are not understanding what's going on. All right. That's one of the other questions. Let me just tick off the questions I've talked about. So we've talked about families. We've talked about living alone. How to protect yourself as an empath. That was a question that somebody put in the comments earlier. All right. Oh, Teresa's saying she's on WhatsApp tonight with her children and grandchildren all over the world. Can't wait. That's beautiful. See that we can get our social interaction. We just need to get it in a different way. You know, people are a little bit frightened that, you know, I'm going to be so lonely. One of the things that's coming out of this, and I said this in my COVID-19 video, and if you haven't seen it, please do have a look at that, is that this technology has been around for a long time and a lot of people are not using it. And this is a way that's actually really forcing us to use it. We're so reliant on going for a coffee or a drink with somebody or seeing them at the office or seeing them in the class. But this is a different way. All right. What actually happens? Let me explain. Let me just go back 3 spaces. I've been working as a hypnotherapist and psychic for 20 years. And for all of that time until 4 years ago, it was always at home. People came to my home. I had a therapy room and they'd come and have a reading. They'd come and have a hypnotherapy session. They'd have a healing session. It was always done face to face. 4 years ago, in 2016, I helped a local lady and she was blown away. And I didn't know that she was quite a big blogger and she had a following of 17,000 people. And she blogged about me and she put my link in there. And I suddenly started getting inquiries and referrals from all over the world. And I freaked. I'm like, I can't help you. You're in India, you're in America, you're in Australia, I'm in the UK. I can't help you. And it was actually the clients that said to me, well, I Skype my family in Australia, I can Skype you. And I'm like, how's that going to work then? But I'll give it a go. My first client, I said to her, I don't know if it's going to work. So if it doesn't work, I won't charge you and I'll give it a go and try. And I was, you know, I was stuck in that rut about this is the way I work. You come to me at this time. And all of a sudden it was different. I did the first Skype session and it just was amazing. After I got over the first few minutes of seeing myself on the screen, which felt very weird, once I got past that and got into the session, I forgot about everything else. We can hear and see each other clearly, and it's just as if you sat in the same room. And since then, my clients have gone, it went 10% onto Skype, 20, 30, 40. And over the last year, I've had 1 client left coming to the house. Everybody else is on Skype, even those in the UK. Because, you know, why drive 2 hours to see me when you can sit with your FaceTime or your Skype or Zoom or Facebook Messenger to see me? We can interact. You don't need to drive here, find somewhere to park, deal with the traffic, pay for the fuel. It works fine. So I've learned to adapt my business to the internet. Now, I'm telling you that because it works. And because you can do this too for your social interactions. I promise you, you do not need to be alone. All right, you do not need to be alone. You can call people. It's not the same on the phone though, is it? We like to see people. We like to see the body language. We like to see the facial expression. And this is why video is so good. And certainly for, you know, having a one-to-one, but also, like I said, for the children who need to see their friends more than one. Use Zoom and Skype. You can put multiple people on them at the same time. All right. Okay. So what was I was talking about something, how to protect yourself as an empath. Before I go on to that, let me just see about some of your questions. I believe man is more vulnerable than what he would allow in his beliefs. Okay, I'm not sure I agree with you. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. All right. Marcella, Julie, how can we spread positiveness? How can we help? I understand that we must start with ourselves and then we can help others. How can we help others to do that? Okay, let's focus on that and how to protect yourself because they come into one. All right. So thank you for that question, Marcella. So before we can help others, we have to help ourselves. We have to protect ourselves. Okay, so first of all, let's acknowledge there's a lot of fear out there. There's a lot of panic. There's a lot of misinformation and disinformation and lies. So what can we do? So first thing is we need to keep ourselves in a good place. So you can cleanse your energy. If you don't know how to do that, have a look at my channel. You're obviously on my channel now, so do it later. But if you just go to the main homepage of my channel, you will see that there is a playlist there, spiritual how-to. All right, there's how to ground, how to protect, how to do this, how to do that. There's also a playlist for meditations. There's all sorts there that's free. Go and use them. All right, so first of all, we need to make sure we're grounded. So that we feel anchored. We need to make sure we're protected from this huge amount of fear that's around us. So you can use your angels, you can use prayer, you can use Archangel Michael, you can use Saint Germain and the violet flame. And you can also use words. Words are very powerful. Use your I am presence, okay? And one of the things that I say when I start to feel my energy going, and I'm going, oh, okay, I'm picking up on the collective energy here, is that I immediately say, stop, cancel. And then I bring my attention into my own energy. And I say the words, I am me and nobody else. I am me and nobody else. I am me and nobody else. What that is doing is the intention. It doesn't have to be those exact words, but it's the intention that my energy is mine and your energy can't come into me. And it is preventing it. It's a shield. Imagine like a dome over you. I am me and nobody else. So I see your fear, but it's not making me afraid. And now I am protected. So now I can help you to deal with your fear. So the way to deal with fear is not to tell people not to be afraid. There's nothing worse than being told don't be afraid when you're terrified. I'm not going to help. That's just telling you you woulda, shoulda, coulda. You shouldn't be afraid. Let's first of all acknowledge and allow and give permission. I know you're frightened. I know you're scared. Straight away, you're giving somebody permission to feel what they're feeling, all right? And then you put love into it. Compassion, understanding, support, care. Don't promise what you can't deliver. All right, for these 3 videos I've done over this in the last few days, and the weeklies and the monthlies that I've been doing, not once have I promised anybody it's all going to be okay. Because what is your definition of okay? My okay is not the same as your okay. So let's just say, look, it is what it is, and we're going to move through it, and we're going to move through it together. All right. So the way we help other people is to acknowledge what they're feeling without buying into it. And to do everything we can to dissolve it. So there are only 2 base emotions, all right? This is what I say to my clients. There's love and there's fear. And every emotion, and there's over 300 of them, comes from those 2. So those are the 2 base emotions. And each one has an opposite. So love and fear, okay? Every emotion is either love-based or fear-based. And for every one, there is an opposite. So if I am feeling insecure, secure. Everyone has an opposite, okay? So whatever somebody's feeling, put the opposite in. That is what dissolves it, all right? So put love into fear. When somebody is panicked, put reassurance, put understanding, put compassion. Any of the love-based emotions will dissolve and reduce the fear. It may not dissolve it completely, but if it can reduce it a little bit, it makes it manageable for the person, and that is helping the collective energy. When you're putting prayers out, and many of you are focusing on praying for the sick and praying for the families of the sick. And as I said last night, that is less than half the job. It's important that we pray for the sick, of course, but actually what's more important is putting light into the darkness, put love into the fear. The fear that's sweeping the planet is feeding the virus, all right? Because what it does is the fear that comes into the people reduces their immune system and increases the power of the virus. So the fear is a huge part of the problem. And what we want to do is reduce the fear. And that strengthens people, right? When I feel energy, when I'm doing healing and intuitive work, I feel just something feels strong or weak. So when our health is strong, it's because we're aligned and we're calm and we're content and we feel and know that we are safe, loved and protected and all our needs are met. All right. Now I feel calm. I feel good. I feel strong. Whenever I go into the fear, oh my God, it's a disaster, da, 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 I weaken. Immediately, my whole system is weakened and it's opened up for all sorts of nasty bugs to get in. So we want to be strong. And it's love, 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 and all of the love-based emotions, understanding, support, compassion, patience, tolerance, on and on the list goes. Put love into it, but recognize what somebody feels. Don't dismiss it. Don't poo-poo it. Don't tell them oh, you shouldn't be frightened. You're adding to the problem. You've just now added guilt. They now were frightened and now they feel guilty as well. And they feel judged as well. So actually they're now 3 times worse. So don't add to it with negative. Add to it with positive. All right. Stephanie's saying, I always imagine I'm in a clear bubble of protection. That's helped. That's fantastic. There is no, I've been asked so many times over the 20 odd years I've been teaching, there is no right or wrong way to do protection. Should it be a blue cloak for Michael? Should it be a golden ray of Christ? Should it be this? Should it be that? It will be whatever you believe works for you. Okay. So if you believe it needs to be a blue cloak, then it needs to be a blue cloak. And if your belief is it needs to be a blue cloak and you imagine a yellow one, you immediately weaken to the protection because you don't believe it's right. It's about your belief. So simply the words I am protected will also do if you believe them. All right. But because we are sensory people, and we use all our senses, to be able to visualize something helps us to align with it. So being able to visualize the violet flame of Saint Germain, and imagine this violet flame coming around you, burning off, this flame burning off all negativity, all fear, all illness, all everything, burning it off and leaving you pure and clean. And then imagine a dome of light, protective light from the angelic realms coming over you. You don't need to do any of that. But if that visualization helps you to truly feel safe, then you are safe. Okay. So I get out of bed in the morning, I put 2 feet on the floor and I feel myself and know myself to be grounded. I am grounded, foot. Right. And it's like, right. But other times when I'm feeling a bit wobbly, I'm like, okay, I don't feel quite anchored. So the fastest way to ground yourself, especially when you're in fear, because it's difficult to do any of this stuff when you're fearful. So we need to get rid of the fear first, is I will go walk out into the garden. I'll stand on the grass and put my 2 feet on the grass. I am grounded to Mother Earth. All right. I'm a magnet. She's a magnet. We're magnetized together. Right. Whatever works for you. There's lots of techniques and there's lots of other stuff on my website as well. If you want to buy it and download it and keep it, they're not expensive, a couple of pounds. But there's free stuff on my channel too. All right. Okay. Fear feeding the virus. It is. Let's take away the fear then. All right. We are the light workers, the angelic force. We've got access. I know people in high places, mate. I've got some very powerful friends up there in the universe. Okay. So let's use them. Let's use the angelic realms. Let's use the higher beings of light. We call upon the universe to help us at this time. And they're there. They know we need them. They don't even need for us to call them. They are like an army of light around us. So what they ask us to do, all of you that are on this call, and all of you that follow my channel is more, I don't want to say advanced because that sounds really egotistical, but it is, it's not about, love and third-party situations and all of that like so many other channels. This is higher vibration, and you're drawn to my channel because you align with that higher vibration. So you're part of this collective light force, and it's our job at the moment to send that light out. There's lots of practical things we can do, volunteering, phone calls, help. But, the most important thing you can do is just spend whatever time you've got, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour a day, sending out love to the fear. Visualize the fear in whatever, as I said, visualization does help. So if you imagine the fear as a blanket of cloud around the earth, and then just literally imagine that you're zapping it with love and the clouds are dissolving and the blue sky is coming back. Whatever works for you, but that's what we can do more than anything else for the collective, is put love into the fear. and acceptance rather than resistance. Resistance is fear-based, okay? So where we're resisting what we can and can't do, that is adding to the fear. So let's try and drop resistance and align with acceptance, all right? Easier said than done, I know, but and it doesn't have to be instant. It doesn't have to be instant. We're human, all right? We're not up there yet. We're doing our best. So allow yourself to do your best. I live, as some of you know, on the waterfront. I'm very, very blessed. And I happen to live directly behind a sailing club. And it's a rented house, but I love it. But during the winter, they bring all the boats, all the sailing boats, and they literally park them side by side right outside my window of my whole, every window, right? So for all of the winter, literally 10 feet in front of me, that's about 2.5 meters, is just a hull and a hull and another hull and another hull, as far as the eye can see. And it takes my light and it takes my view, because the other side is the water and light, and it's beautiful. And I've learned to say 6 months of the year, the other 6 months is lovely. And at the end of March, all the boats go back in the water, and I count the days. I count the days till the big crane comes and lifts each yacht up and puts it back in the water, and I get my light and my view back for 6 months. Hey, and they're supposed to be coming next weekend. And I had an email today to say it's highly unlikely it's going to happen. The boats could be parked there for the next 3 or 4 months. And my heart sank. And I felt resistance. No, no, no. And I allowed myself to have a moan and a groan. And then I just went, let's get a grip. People are dying. This is very serious. And, you know, I've lost my view for another few months. It's not the end of the world. And then I dropped resistance. It took me about an hour, okay, and then it's gone. And if it had taken me a day, that's okay too. So it's saying, look, acknowledge the resistance that we have to things that we don't like, and then work to let it go. And that reduces the fear. Resistance is fear, okay? Shannon Mayer. Hello, Shannon. Oh, Kerry, I look beautiful. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Shannon's saying, get the closest 10 neighbours' phone numbers and start a group chat to use for emergencies, for requests for help, and for sharing supplies. We're in Southern California. Shannon, I love that as an idea. That's amazing. Wonderful. Louisa is agreeing. Yeah. Okay. Debbie's saying, I find asking Archangel Metatron to put beautiful healing rays of light over me and thank him. That, yeah, whatever works for you. Metatron is just a phenomenal energy. If any of you have read my angel books, he's very strongly in all of my books as the boss of the angels. Very powerful. Use Metatron, absolutely. Julian's saying, love is in the air. All we have to do is channel it, focus on it, activates it, then it's ready to go where it's sent. Oh, do you know, that's just my heart connected with that so strongly there, Julian. Thank you for that. Evolving Blessed, hello to you too, and to the room. Yeah, it's, you know, let's remember we are beings of love. We're not trying to generate anything new here. We are love. And we are, as long, if we're not in the fear, we are absolutely in love, and we can just radiate it out. But when the fear comes in, and we're human, we have our own fears too. Of course we will. Acknowledge them, transmute them, let them go, come back into the love. Louisa's saying, how is Oscar doing? He's not here tonight. You see behind me, the bed is empty. He wasn't very happy because most of this week, hence the sore throat, and it's not sore, it's just almost gone. My voice is gone. I have done so many readings and sessions and helping that I said to him, sorry, mate, we haven't got time for a walk. I need to work. So we didn't get a walk for about 3 days, and he looked really annoyed yesterday. And I've got a lovely, lovely lady called Michelle, who is a dog sitter, and had him when I was on holiday. And I rang Michelle yesterday and asked her if she would be willing to take him for a walk today. And she said, absolutely. And I'll keep him overnight and walk him tomorrow as well, and bring him back tomorrow lunchtime. And she's got 2 children, teenage children at home, because the schools have all closed. And she said, it helps me because they love the dog and they'll play with the dog all weekend. So Oscar's there and he's fine. Okay. So that's where he is. Okay. Now I'm going to go to some of the other questions some of you asked me. So I've talked about the resources available on my channel and my website, which will help you. You know, you're going to be home for a while. So, you know, if you need help with there's some lovely meditations on there free on my channel, or you can buy them from my site. And loads of other channels. It's not just me. I'm not here to, you know, just promote my stuff. It's there as a resource if you need it, but so are other channels. So find the ones that resonate for you and get them down. Okay. So we've talked about how to protect yourself. We've talked about how to help. Another question was, is the currencies going to change into a universal world currency, like a world bank? I asked my angels about that, and they've said that that is coming. And this is the beginnings of those changes. But they're not giving me a definitive yes or no. Can I give them any more information about this, please? There is going to be a rebalancing and a restructuring of the world's attitudes towards money, and the way that money works is going to be changed. So allow whatever comes out of this to come out of this. Okay. Somebody else asked, are the dates of the lockdowns correct? Now, every country is going to be different. Obviously, Italy is about 3 or 4 weeks behind us, if not a little bit more, actually. Maybe 4 weeks behind us. And so you've been in lockdown for some time. You're still getting higher and higher cases. The lockdown will stay until the cases have stopped increasing. And so it's going to be, my feeling is 3 or 4 months per country, but there's going to be a tailback knock-on effect, I feel, for the rest of the year. So what does that mean? So the information that my angels have given me is for the UK, that we're going to be predominantly sort of shut down like this until June, where it's going to start to ease into July, but won't fully get going till September. And even then, through the rest of the year, there will still be some partial restrictions in place. So I feel that the short term intensive stuff like we're under now, lockdown, shutdown, can't go out, can't socialize, that sort of time is 6 to 16 weeks, depending on the country, depending on the situation. But basically, if we just let go of resistance and allow this situation to burn itself out, they're just showing me a dragon, it will burn itself out. And it will take 4 to 6 months, but we're going to start seeing some improvements after 2 months. But just this is as the UK government says, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Okay. Nicola says you need to borrow Oscar to keep your 2 children occupied. They're like Tom and Jerry already. Bless. Okay. Yeah, Oscar is well, but he loved his holiday because he stayed with her for 9 days, and the children love him, and he's allowed to sleep on the beds and he's not even allowed in my bedroom. In their house, he's allowed on the beds, on the sofa, get cuddled all the time, gets 3 hours walk a day. I mean, that's not my life, mate. But he came back and he sulked for days. It's like, oh, back to reality, back to the rules. Okay. Okay, another question that somebody asked is, what is the biggest change to come out of this? So the biggest change, see, there's so many changes coming out. I'm just asking my angels which is the biggest, and she says they are all equally important. So obviously environmental change. So the planet's having a really good bath at the moment. It can breathe, it's being cleaned, and it can see, the earth will self-clean if it's allowed to. And at the moment it's allowed to. So the waters are cleaning, the air is cleaning, the earth is really working to clean itself while she can. So the environmental impact is going to be a massive change to come out of this. But there's going to be knock-on effect, because what's going to happen, and it's going to take a bit of time, is time long enough for us to embed these changes and not just go back to the way it was. So this is why it needs to be a bit longer, right? Because what's going to happen over the next 3 or 4 months is the earth is going to get cleaner and cleaner and cleaner, and people are going to say we can't let it go back to the way it was, and changes have to happen. And the big conglomerate corporations that still use fossil fuels and all of those things that are suffocating the planet, they have to change. We have to do it differently. If we can come up with 350 billion pounds for the UK out of nowhere, where did that come from? But out of nowhere, then, you know, when this is over, they can find money to put solar panels on everybody's roofs and, you know, make us use the clean energy now, not in 2050 like they said, now, right? So there is going to be not wanting to go back to the way it was. All right, so that's in terms of the environment. Other big changes coming out of this: the way we treat each other, the way we treat life, the way that we appreciate and value. There's a lovely little post going around Facebook at the moment saying, never again, when this is over, will I take for granted being able to give my friend a hug, to go on holiday for, you know, with my family, to be able to shake hands with a stranger. Never again will I take for granted the things that I have taken for granted. There's going to be a greater sense of gratitude, appreciation, connection, love. It's an increase of love. Economically is another massive impact. It has been collapsing for far too long, where a very few small amount of people have ridiculous amounts of control, of power, of wealth, and it needs to stop, and it's going to be redistributed. So there's going to be big changes economically. So those are the big three. So it's more love, more connections, more interactions, more getting back more to society of communities and caring for us as a species, for Mother Earth to heal, and for the financial sector to change, okay? Because it collapsed in 2007 and then went back to exactly the way it was. Nothing changed. This time, things will have to change, okay? What other questions have I got here? Somebody else asked about shortage of meds. Let me just read some questions, give my throat a break a minute. Hi guys, everybody saying hello. Do I truly believe things will change? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. The planet vibration has been raising since the 60s, the dawn of the age of Aquarius. And so what's been happening is the vibration of love, which is freedom, free dominion, care, has been raising and raising and raising, decade on decade. And we're now at the point where it's raised far enough, high enough, that it starts to break down the tower structures of things that don't work. And this is part of it. So yes, I'm not saying that we can achieve all of those changes this year in 2020. I feel this is a decade-long process beginning in 2020. But yes, we're going to see such significant changes coming out of this. My angels don't want me to use the word crisis, because they actually love, you know, they're like, this is an intervention, this is a rescue rather than a crisis. But there is going to be such significant change coming out of this that is the springboard for further change further down the line. And so what we need to do is trust that that is going to happen. Okay. It is humanitarian stuff. Yes, Saturn in Aquarius. And Saturn is moving, isn't it, at the end of March into, or is it already? But basically it's, I'm not an astrologer, but the Saturn shift is part of this foundation. You know, we've talked about 2020 being the year of foundations. The world that we live in is broken, and we know it's broken, and it's been broken for a long time. And we all know it, we all say it, and it's still broken. So 2020 is the year of foundations, where we're taking what's broken and we are breaking it apart and building something new that isn't broken. So this is the beginning of that. All right. Okay. I'm just looking at some of your comments. Teresa's saying we're due for an overall financially, emotionally, emphatically, and becoming aware. Absolutely, that's what's going on. You're very welcome, Paula. All right. What other questions? Yes, shortage of meds. Somebody asked about shortage of meds. They're concerned because they're on medication for different health issues. They're worried about being able to get their medication. I'm just asking my angels about that. She's saying, please just focus on all your needs will be met. All your needs are met. I want you to make that your mantra. All my needs are met. Now, what the angels say as your needs, you may not think your needs, but they will make sure your needs are met. So the meds you need, you will get. They may not be the same brand, in the same way, in the same this or in the same that, but my angels are saying you will get what you need. Okay. Now, the more you hold that truth, the less the fear gets to win. All right. This is about, they're calling this virus the silent enemy. Fear is the silent enemy. So let's fight fear with love by just putting love into the fear, understanding the fear. That's love. Understanding is love, and allowing it to dissipate. Okay. So shortage of meds we've done. Helping children and teens to cope with their emotions, we've talked about. And another question was somebody, not question, a comment, I'm feeling extra emotional at the moment. Any advice? Okay, so this is an emotional time. It's turbulent times, chaotic times, and what it's doing is shaking up all of our emotions up to the surface, and everything's coming up. So allow it. All right. First thing to do is give yourself permission. And then the second thing to do, actually, doesn't have to be in this order. First of all, acknowledge what you feel. All right. What we're aware of, we can deal with. What we deny, suppress, push away, ignore, we can't. So first of all, acknowledge everything you feel. All right. If you're oversensitive, if you're tearful, if you're whatever you're feeling, feel it. All right. And then allow it, own it, and put love into it. Put love into it. And that's acceptance. Acceptance is the key. You're dropping resistance. So acceptance that we're part of a collective energy, and the collective energy is going through massive, fast, sweeping transformation. And so like a tsunami, like an earthquake, everything is shaking up. The vibrations are shaking, and we feel that shaking. And we can hold strong, grounded, anchored in one space of peace and love. All right. And then put calm into that is shaken. Okay. All right. Anything else? Any other questions? I'm just looking at the questions you've asked. I want to bring this in because it was something I saw today. I don't know if this is misinformation, disinformation again, but I have asked my angels about it, and they're telling me that it's correct. So some of the information that I saw today was about that the virus lives on metal surfaces longer. So, and it can be for several days. All right. So doorknobs, metal surfaces, handrails, things like that, the virus can live on that. So be careful what you're touching when you're out, and wash your hands as soon as you get home, 20 seconds with lots of soap. Okay. The virus starts, I listened to a doctor today, the virus starts in the throat. And one of the fastest ways to help yourself is to flush it down into your belly, because the acids in your stomach will kill the virus. What it's wanting to do is going from your throat into your lungs, into your respiratory area. But if we can wash it down into the stomach, the acid in the stomach will kill it. So be drinking, regularly drinking, flushing it out, using mouthwashes, doing what you can to keep your throat warm, lubricated, and look after your throat. Okay. And my throat, my glands are not up. I haven't got a sore throat. I've just talked I started talking this morning at 7 o'clock. I'm still talking now at nearly 9 o'clock. I worked for most of that. I took 2 or 3 hours off, and I spent most of that 2 or 3 hours talking on the phone with my family. So I've talked all day. So I've talked out. All right, that's all that's wrong with my throat. Okay. Somebody else asked, well, there were several comments yesterday about my hair. I know we're off the subject here now, but I just wanted to recognize all your comments about my hair. And just to let you know, last year in May, I decided to make a decision to transition to grey from my coloured hair, which was quite long, and my hair's very thick. And I made a video about it, cut it all off, cut it very, very short, let the colour grow out, kept it very short for 3 months, and now it's growing again. And my intention is to grow it back down again and let the grey just come through. So I've got all sorts of sticky out bits and transitionary stuff. If you're interested in that, if you yourself, because you can't get to the hairdressers for 3 months, if you're interested in doing that yourself, you know, have a look at those videos. They're actually, I put them on a little playlist, 3 or 4 of them, my transition to grey. That's what's going on with my hair. Okay. Some of you will say, I like your hair long. No, I like it short. What's going on with your hair? So I just thought, I'll cover that because several of you have asked. All right. Toy Hunters Wales, is this the event psychics have been talking about for years? Interesting. Okay. I don't know what psychics have been talking about for years. They were talking about 2012 for a long time. They were talking about the millennium for a long time. What we know is that from the time we came into the 60s and the dawning of the age of Aquarius, which means enlightenment, that the light is getting brighter, which means that it's shining the light on the darkness, which is the negative stuff, the control, the fear, the yucky stuff. So we can't just jump from where we were into enlightenment because it's too big. So there are several transitions. There are portals of energy opening with higher vibration stuff coming down, DNA downloads, higher beings of light coming among us to help us, angelic angels, those of us on earth who have this connection and can channel that information through. Like Janie King channeling Patar, like Abraham Hicks. I channel the angels. I'm not in their league, but I channel as well. There's many of us channeling, helping, bringing that information. And so many light workers on this planet at the moment, and a huge amount of them on YouTube. And the millenniums, you know, the younger people that, you know, one of Shanetta's tarot, bless her, young girl, absolutely phenomenal energy, beautiful energy. There's lots and lots of young people. Who's the other one with ridiculous amount of subscribers, like 700,000 or something? She's only in her 20s. Beautiful. There are some beautiful people here spreading the light, which is what we're about. The intention of my channel is to inspire, inform, uplift, and support. That's what I do. And when I put that COVID-19 video out the other day, there were hundreds of comments saying, thank you, I feel so much better. I was absolutely panicked and I feel calm now. Fabulous, that's my job done. Tick, go and have a glass of wine. You know, and it's, yeah, it's, we do what we can. And all of you that are here have your place to play as well, your part to play as well. So is this the big event? There are so many, several different events leading up to this. By the time we get to 2032, we will be more or less where we need to be. Now, they've been telling me that for a long time. And every time I've watched one of these G19 summits or all of this political stuff about the environment, yeah, we're going to fix it. We've agreed a package for 2080. And I talked to my angels and I'm like, I thought we were going to be more or less where we need to be by 2032. And they're like, yeah, we need to speed that up. That's got to speed up. Yeah. So, you know, in the UK and in the world, there's been agreements about hitting so-and-so emotions, zero levels of this, that, and the other by 2030, 2050, 20 this. This event that we're going through is speeding that up, okay? And that needs to happen, all right? Yeah, Paula, my therapist suggested I lighted a candle to burn away negative energy. Absolutely true. Okay. One of my videos on the playlist, free there, is all about how to raise your vibration. Earth, air, fire, and water. Standard stuff. Okay. So all of them raise the vibration. And so earth, bringing plants, look behind me at my plants, bringing earth into the house and greenery. The earth transmutes, all right, that the soil transmutes negativity. Air, open a window, have a flow of air, which also cleanses and clears. And fire, candles, burn off negativity. And water, so jugs of water, glasses of water, water features, water fountains, they allow the flow, all right, so the energy flows through, and the earth part of the plants transmutes negative energy. The air is moving it out of the house through the windows. Have a couple of windows open, it blows through. All of these things increase the energy, all right? So when we've had any negativity, and we will have that over the next few months, let's be real, we're going to have ups and downs. So when you're having a bad day, when you've had disagreements in your family, the kids driving you nuts and you want to pull your hair out and scream, then first of all, kind of, yeah, get a pillow over your face, scream the place down into your pillow quietly. If you can get to the top of the mountain and scream, do that. Let it out, all right? And then realize that actually that negativity that you were feeling will be in your space, right? You might have got it out of you. You now need to get it out of your space. Lots of ways you can do that. So you want to raise the vibration. So I've always got candles lit when I'm working, the window open a little bit. I've got plants, I've got water, and raise the vibration. I also use incense. I use this one. This is a very high vibrational incense. It's Nag Champa. It's extremely good for raising the vibration. I also use sage, white sage. I haven't used that for a long time. Actually, I haven't needed to. I live on my own, so I don't get a lot of negativity around. So that's grand. But those of you who got squabbles, I used to have to sage my house every week when I had teenagers at home, all the slam doors and the shouting and all the rest of that. Sage the house again, bloody kids, you know. So do what you can to raise the vibration and keep it high, but accept it'll go up and down a little bit. All right. Okay. Anything else? How do I know what healing powers I have to share? You have your heart, my darling. You have love. You have care and compassion. Simply share that. Intention is everything. Okay, so bring your attention into your heart space, into your love, and then intend it out. This is for the world. This is for the globe. This is for the universe. This is from me to you. I love you. That's absolutely beautiful. And that's enough. All right. Those of us who are Reiki practitioners, Reiki masters, as myself, Reiki master teacher, then we can send Reiki out there. I connect with all the angels in the angelic realms, and I ask the angels to add to it. And I literally imagine moving that across the globe. However you want to do it, it's all helping. There isn't a right or wrong, do it this way and that won't work. It's the intention of the heart that, and then everything works. Okay. Anything else? All right, we're just coming to 9 o'clock. I'm going to wrap it up now, I think. Is there anything else? Now I've covered everything I wanted to cover. I will finish off with a card, and I'm going to go to the Angels of Atlantis because these cards are phenomenal, very high vibration and very beautiful. Tell me what the message is for these beautiful people watching right now, please. And we, Raphael, communion. Okay, Raphael, communion. You've heard me talk about that this is about bringing us back to each other, that we are one, that we are in union. That, let me take the glare off. I'll turn that light off so you can see the card better. It won't glare as much then. We are coming back to each other, to our heart, to the earth, to our connections. We've lost sight of so much, and this is bringing us back. That has an L, turning that light off. It's bringing us back to the union, the communion with ourself, our spirit, our heart, and each other. Archangel Raphael is the angel of physical healing. all right, for things like viruses and illnesses. All right, so call upon Archangel Raphael, intend that the communion, reunion of this world continue to be cleansed, cleared, rebooted, rebalanced, and rejoined as one in love. All right, my darlings, that is what I have for you. Jacqueline, I read tarot. Do you see this shift opening up more skills for others like me? Absolutely. That, you know, this is a time, Jacqueline, where people need support and they need answers and they're frightened. And so, you know, this is why my throat's so bad as it is on Saturday night. I have done so much talking this week to support people. So do your readings on YouTube, and, you know, clients that want readings with tarot. And it doesn't have to be predictive. It doesn't have to be, this is what next month is bringing. You can absolutely focus on the energy for now. All right, what is the prime energy for now? How can we support people in the now? Because actually it's only the now that matters. Okay. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there. I'm going to go and have a glass of wine. Alcohol's very good for clearing germs. It says on the hand sanitizers, contains alcohol. All right, my darlings, it's been lovely connecting with you. Thank you so much for joining me. Throat's definitely hurt enough. Sending love to you all, and you take care. And I will come live again next Saturday at 8 o'clock, same time, but our clocks go forward next Saturday, but not till 2 in the morning. So yeah, same time next Saturday, and I will see you then. All right, guys, take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye.